Good evening, everyone. We are back with another episode of Host Now Live. We are so glad that you are here joining us in today's conversation titled How to Make Social Media Work for Your Business. So, my name is Maya and I'll be your host for today's session. Now, Host Now Live is a platform for us to invite guest speakers, industry experts, and specialists to come on board and answer questions that you have posted. Today, we'll only be live on Facebook, so if you have any questions at any point of time, please feel free to write them down in the comment below. The comment box. So shall we begin? So today we are going to discuss about social media. Social media is such a broad topic that I'm sure everyone is curious about and wondering like, hey, how can I make good use of this social media to actually excel for my business? So before we start, we would like to try out one new thing today. We would like to invite everyone to write on the comment down below your industry, your trade, or write a short description about your business. We might just get our guest speaker to use your industry as a case study today. So right now, we are very honored to have a very special guest speaker, Asaph from the co-founder of Hash Brown Media. At just 27, he has opened up his own company and served many clients, including Coca Noodle, yes, that Maggie Mee noodle, Jeju Kitchen, Orion Crown, and many more. Well, without further ado, can we have Asaph to introduce himself? Asaph, please.
Hi guys, hi. My name is Asaph and I run Hash Brown Media, a social media agency that helps your company to grow its online business through social media. Yeah.
So, shall we get the conversation started? So, we have actually curated questions for our guest speakers today. So, meanwhile, if you have any question again, just write it down in the comment box below. We will get Asaph to answer them at some point of time. So, to start off, we just want to have a better understanding about this whole broad topic about social media. Like, what does it comprise of, and like, what is social media marketing? Asaph, could you just give us a understanding about what this social media is all about?
Yeah, so I believe that most people use social media today, right? Like almost everybody's on Facebook or Instagram. But the question here is, what does the company do? What do companies do? Are they actually on social media? Are they taking the opportunity to reach out to these customers? Yeah, so that's where social media marketing comes in, where there is an opportunity, and a lot of companies they are not filling the opportunity. They are just letting the opportunity slip. So, in order to reach out to your customers who are on social media, you have to have an active social media presence, and also some good quality content that can help you to engage your customers.
So when you're talking about like social media, are we talking about like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or like what are the
Yeah.
platforms? Just this
So
few,
mainly
or
in
is there many?
Singapore, mainly in Singapore, the more popular ones would be Facebook and Instagram. And if you are trying to reach out to the more like comprehensive audience, it will be more on Facebook. Instagram will be more of the younger group of audiences, maybe like 30 and below, maybe 35 and below, around that range. Yeah, because Instagram is more for images, more visuals, but Facebook is more informative in terms of the types of functions that are like, for example, you can create an events page on Facebook, but you can't do that on Instagram. So there is some difference in terms of the functions. So if you were to ask me, I would say that Facebook is more comprehensive, but overall, in order to cover both bases in Singapore, the best solution would still be to have both Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. So could you like
Yeah.
show us like what exactly do you do? Like maybe your company's portfolio or anything like that to show like the audience like what exactly do you do for your clients?
Sure. Okay. So what I can do is I will share my screen and then you can take a look at some of the clients that we've been managing. Hang on. Okay. So if you can see here, I have fish chips. So I'm not sure if you have heard of this brand, but they sell potato chips that are in very local and unique flavors, like such as egg prata and fish curry, Singapore laksa, Hainanese chicken rice. I'm sure you have heard of it. So this is what we do for them. So all these posts that you see on their page is actually done by us. So for example, if you were to see, let me take a look at this recent post that we did, circuit breaker project. Yeah, so this post was actually the ideation was done by us. So we think of all the ideas, how to create the content, what is relevant for the time, what's relevant for this period of time, like during the COVID season. So this is how we try to tie in the post together with what the brand does. Yeah, so all this whole process is a step-by-step process. Okay, so like we have to think about how we want the idea to come out. So we need to think of the visuals, the imagery, and then after that we have to take some photos, and then after that we come out with a post. So after this post is completed, we post it up, and then we buy advertisements for it to let it get out, go out more. Yeah.
See. Okay, so Asaph, now I cannot see your face. We want to see your face.
Okay, I've ended the share screen.
Yes, you're back. Okay,
yes.
So okay, so for example, let's say a company, right? Once they start like a social media, what do they have to go through? Like, for example, conceptualization. And then so what do you help them? What can you help them with? Like, what do you do? Conceptualize, and then how do you tell them like what exactly is the right do?
Yeah, so for when we start to work with companies, what we do is to first of all learn more about what their company does. So I think that's a very important thing, because you have, I mean, for the owners themselves of the company, you know what your company is doing, right? But for us as an external agency, we have to take time to understand what your business does, what your company believes in, and all the background about why you started the company, for example. And then only then we'll be able to start like thinking of some ideas for you. So what happens is that we'll come up with a deck of ideas. So this deck will comprise of different categories of things that we want to do, or the things that we want to try. And then this will be a two-way conversation between us and the client. So the client will be free to bounce off ideas. So it can be like, are you okay with this? Or do you want to change something? Or do you like this idea? And then once that is done, we'll come up with the post, and then the client will take a look at the post to see whether is suitable for them. Do they like it? And then once it's okay, then we'll start to post the post out. Yeah.
I see. So okay, that's some questions like, do you think is it necessary? So like, for example, if let's say I'm an insurance agent, do you think like social media helps, or is it even essential? Like, there's so many people like doing social media content right now.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. So there is a lot of people doing social media, and that's good, because that means that they have an outlet for their products. But you see, the key thing that helps you to stand out as a social media page compared to your competitors is how you craft your content. See, so the misconception about social media is that a lot of people like to have it as a very straight out advertisement. Like, for example, if my company is running a 1-for-1 discount, then I make a post that's just saying 1-for-1. So that is okay, but it's not going to help you in long-term brand building. See, so how you want to cultivate this brand building process, right? How you want to build your presence is to give people something that they can learn about. So like something more informational that they can learn about your brand, or it could also be like just background information. So for example, if you're selling potato chips, for example, how will you it will be very interesting for you to tell people how your potatoes are sourced, or how maybe the step-by-step process of how potatoes are made into chips. So in a way, it's more for education. When the customer comes to your page, they are not just looking at your content. It's not like because we all don't like advertisements. Nobody likes advertisements, which is why we are on social media. You see, so social media is more of like a two-way conversation. So the brand educates customers, gives something interesting for customers to learn, and then also the customers can interact with the brand. So in that way, it's a more of a personal approach, rather than just throwing advertisements all the time. Yeah.
Okay, that's very helpful. So like, for example, what if let's take for example Terrence, right? Terrence is in health and fitness industry. Like what do you think
Yes.
the kind of content that he can actually produce to help like engage his audience?
Yeah. Hi, Terence. Yeah. So what you can do for the fitness industry, I think in the fitness industry, they have a very strong reputation. I mean, you build your content based on how strong your reputation is. So people are looking for a personal trainer based on their reputation. So it's kind of like a portfolio thing, right? So I choose my trainer if he's good, if he has a good track record. So how would a personal trainer use social media for his benefit? I think it'll be more of sharing their portfolio, like showing how to do certain workouts. It could also be testimonials of past clients, clients who have undergone a program and they have seen positive results. So I guess that's how I will do for a fitness company. Yeah, actually we do have a fitness company called Pulse Lab that is working with us right now. So during this season, they are doing a lot of home workouts. They are trying to show people how to do HIIT because that's what they specialize in. But in the comfort of your own home, so you can do it at home. Yeah, because you can't do it at the gym right now, right? So that's how we are doing it for them.
Okay, just a random shout out. If you are on our website, remember to come over to our Facebook page, Host Now Live. Comment down below so we could see it. And then any questions, just feel free to post it up and we will ask ASAP as soon as much as we can. Okay, so now like during this like circuit breaker period, right? And we know like there's so many restrictions. Like what are the kind of things that we can do using this period to actually boost our social media presence, like for any industry?
Okay, so if you don't have any social media presence at this moment, right, I can suggest that you take this time to start a Facebook page. Just open a page and then put in some details, put in your profile picture, have a logo, so that you have some sort of online presence at least. So because Facebook is a platform where people can interact with you, so if they have any questions about the brand, they can always send a direct message. You see, so it's more of a you are encouraging the opportunity for conversation. It's very unpersonal to leave an email and then ask people to email you based on your website. So the Facebook page will help you to generate some conversation, and also it will help you to see the kind of reviews people visit the page to see reviews that you have done for your previous customers. So after that, after you have opened after you have started your Facebook page, what you can do is to start taking photos of what you do. So this can be just a very basic kind of product. So straight out, what do you sell? Maybe if you sell accessories, then take photo of those accessories and then post it up. Okay, once you have done that, then you can start doing other things like buying ads. So buying ads is another whole new ball game. Normally, I will encourage you to seek a social media specialist so that you don't waste your money doing unnecessary ads or just buying ads that don't reach anyone. Yeah. So usually what we do for our customers is that we optimize these ads. So we know what works and what doesn't work. And then we spend the money wisely so that you get like maximum results out of it. But I mean, if you're keen to try it out on your own, please do. You can maybe put a small budget, maybe $100, and then explore and see where the reach goes. Yeah, there's no loss because I mean, being on social media is already a step forward for you. Yeah.
Okay, so we're assuming that basically what we have to do is to actually create a community where we can actually like talk to our audiences, our sellers, or whoever they are, and then actually give information, right? But what if like those are like our, let's say I'm a fitness instructor, right? And I'm trying to sell my fitness class. Like, am I like sort of like selling the information freely to everyone? Because now it seems like like some secrets are out, or like it's just so many information that like, how can I sell myself? Like I'm pretty sure they just want free stuff anyway. So
I mean, that's the usual misconception. You know, people always think that, oh, maybe our competitors will steal our information, or you know, they might just come to the Facebook page to see what they need and then they won't sign up. There will definitely be people like that. So there's no way to avoid it. But what I can say is that as you cement your position as an expert in this field, then you know you'll slowly start to see the customers coming in. There are other customers that might not, you know, they might not come to you, but yeah. So I mean, the whole idea is to make sure that you are an expert in this field, and when people start seeing that, you'll build your reputation, and then people will start to consult you for other things.
okay, so like, could you bring us through like what are the types of like posts that you do? Like we know there's so many kinds of posts. Like what are the different types of posts that we can actually post on our social media?
Okay, so a lot of times that these different types of content is based on the type of brand that you have. Okay, but I can give you some generic ones. Okay, so first of all, it could be like product posts. So product posts are the very straightforward kind of posts where it's just basically talking about what you're selling. So these are the types of posts that let your customers have a better idea of what to purchase without having to come down to your store. So maybe, you know, it could be a service also. It could be a skincare product. Okay, so the next type of post will be promotions. Promotions are very powerful because they help people to know what is the upcoming deal. And you know, Singaporeans are very crazy for this kind of stuff. So promotions could be seasonal stuff. So maybe it could be Christmas, you could offer a 1-for-1 promotion. So your post could be based on the promotions. But my advice is that try to keep your promotions to a minimum, because when you keep giving promotions, you'll just end up cheapening your brand. And the people will not buy from you unless there's a promotion ongoing. So I mean, this is good to drive short-term traffic, but try not to do it too much. So the third type of post will be more of a newsroom. So newsroom is where we like to relate content very closely to current affairs. So for example, now it could be about relating to the COVID situation. So essentially, you have to be very in touch with the current situation, the current times, like news that's ongoing, and then you try to tie your post together with the current affairs, and that will usually get it to go a lot more viral. So the next type of post will be brand story. Brand story is more like we want to talk about what your brand believes in, the background of your brand, why did you start the company. So all this kind of information is good because it gives the brand a more personal approach. It gives so customers are not just seeing ads all the time. And nowadays customers are very they are very conscious of what the company does. So if they don't believe in what the company does, like maybe in terms of environmental consciousness, then they won't buy from you. So it's good to talk about more brand story, so more background behind the brand. So the next type will be fan engagement. So fan engagement posts will be more like for contests. So it could be a small game where it could be a crossword puzzle, or it could be a word search game, and then you can give away a prize for people who have gotten the right answer. So this usually gives us a lot of traffic. And finally, it will be for guest engagement. Guest engagement is more for the type of post that shows happy faces, just to show a more personal approach to the brand. Yeah, so these are normally the 6 type of posts that we like to go by. Yeah.
Okay, that's sufficiently enough to create a lot of content. So
Yeah.
there is someone, Jonathan, who is asking, like, do you actually create, take on clients from the same industry?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I have an example?
Like, for example, an insurance agent. Like, will you take up like many different insurance agents as a client?
For us in our company, because we work in different teams, so we have a team that manages for that account. So you can be sure that there's no conflict of interest. We will not share your information with the competitor brand because these are separate. So for example, if I'm handling for a skincare brand, I will not handle for another skincare brand at the same time. So this other skincare brand will be handed over to another accounts person. Yeah. So you can be sure that there's no conflict of interest.
Okay. So now, okay, there's this like misconception about clients to say that, let's say I want to engage you and then I paid the amount of money to create contents, right? So then they want it to translate to, like for
Sales.
example, sales. Yes. So
Right.
what do you have to say about this? Like, as someone who works in the creative myself, like I believe that this is not very true. Like we do our best to create content, but like
Yeah.
to have direct sales is not up to us in a way, right? So
Yes,
like
correct.
what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, so I think the first main thing that you have to wrap your mind around is that social media is not primarily for sales, you see. You do not go into social media expecting there to be sales, but more of having it as brand building. So social media is more for brand building where you help to build awareness, you help to build brand loyalty, and then ultimately that leads to sales. So it is more of a long haul process. You create the content and you don't see the results immediately, but maybe over the course of a few months, you start slowly seeing sales coming in. So I mean, this is where the difficult point is because you cannot quantify brand value. You see, even if people, a lot of people start following your brand, then it's very hard to quantify that. And I mean, it's an understandable thing from a business point of view that you like to see the translation, you like to see the conversion into sales. So usually, what we like to promise clients is that we cannot promise you sales, but what we can promise you is the growth in traffic. So you start seeing more traffic on your page, and this could be in the form of followers. So there might be more followers that join your page, or there could be more people that engage with your post, more people sharing it, more people talking about it, and ultimately this will translate to sales indirectly. So we can't promise how much sales, but we can promise the increase in traffic, which will eventually lead to sales. Yes.
See, so okay, Karthik is actually asking, like, hi, for an SME, what do you think should be the top three best practice as this SME wants to use social media platform?
Top three best practices, as in what do you mean?
Um, so like what is maybe the common thing that this like as an SME they should do for a start for a basics for their social media? Like what do you think they should? Of course, it's creating the Facebook page, Instagram page, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But what are
Yeah.
main things that they should focus on primarily for these things
I
as a
think
start for a start?
yeah, so I think the few main things are um, making sure that you have good content first of all. Making sure you is updated. The page is updated with the proper information, like where do you buy your products, where is the what's your website, and finally I think the last one would be social media ads. So social media ads are a very important part of social media management because um, it's like having very good something that's very good, but no one is there to experience it. You see, it's like say for example, I can cook a very good bowl of soup, but because nobody knows about my bowl of soup, nobody gets to try it. You see, so the key thing is using the ads to get the message out. Some people ask whether can I just can I just have organic content and not spend any money on ads? Well, you can, but you will see a very, very slow growth rate. It just takes very long for it to go out. And my advice to you will be, put in a small budget at least so that you see your results coming in. Again, I should say with caution because you need to have good content in order for your ads to be utilized properly. Yeah, so this is where if you do need help, you can always ask us to help you. We'll be very happy to share with you more. You can contact me on my email at hello@hashbrownsocial.com. Yeah.
Remember to note that down. Yes. So now, okay, talking about that, right? Like, could you just bring us through like what you normally do with your clients? Like, for example, let's say we have an industry, let's pick out one industry. Let's say we have Zubin, who is actually printing, doing commercial printing, right? So like,
Right.
could you bring us the process of, let's say, what do you normally do with them? Like conceptualize, and then how do you determine whether it's a video or a photo, or like, let's say it's a graphic content, and stuff like that. So everyone will understand what is the whole exact process that you have to go through, and why they should actually, let's say, pay for good content. Because most of us really, we just wondering like, should we really pay extra expenses
Yeah.
for like good contents and stuff like that? So could you just bring us through this whole process so that we can understand more about what goes behind the scenes?
Yeah. So the process of starting this kind of thing is it's not difficult, but it's very tedious. So unless you have a lot of time on your hands, which usually I feel that as a business owner, you should spend your time wisely doing other things, because like fulfilling orders rather than doing all these kind of small things. So usually for us, the whole process goes as that we start off thinking of the design. So there's the ideation part where we think of what content to post, and then after that, subsequently we will come up with the design. So this is again, it take you at least 3 weeks to come up with a whole calendar of posts, because there's time and effort. You use Photoshop, Illustrator, and all the design software together with photography. So once the posts are out, then it will be in a calendar where the client can take a look, and then again we'll go through a process of editing. So sometimes the posts are not up to standard. Maybe you feel like this does not properly represent your brand. So then our designers will go back and then edit this again. So again, you'll take another week or so. So usually what happens for us is that we plan for the next month ahead. So I would say that it's a long process, and usually it helps to have a whole team of people that are working on it together rather than just one person. It's going to be very, very, takes up a lot of time. Yeah.
So then, like, what about like the type of content? Like, let's say we want to do video instead of photo, and then like, what do you think works better? Like, let's say I just want to get the most out of this, and so should I do a video? And what's the difference between a video or a photo or a GIF, let's say, or graphics for that matter?
Yeah, so generally videos do better in terms of reach. So videos are because it might also be because of the way that Facebook calculates the reach. Because as long as the video is on your newsfeed, it gets counted as one reach. So videos tend to do better, and it tends to go out more. So if you were to have time and the effort and the resources, do a video, and then there's still the more highly recommended one over photos and GIFs. Although there needs to be some variety, like it's always nice to have a different kinds of posts. So sometimes people like aesthetics kind of posts, and aesthetic posts are usually photos, they're not videos. Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a question asking like, do you also manage the conversation that is going on in the social media platforms, or does it goes back to the client itself?
Yes, we do. So part of our social media package is also community management. So this includes replying to direct messages, replying to comments, as far as we know. So usually, sometimes when customers ask questions, they are very standard, like what time is your shop open, or what kind of products do you sell, or what's the price of a particular item. So all this kind of information we can help you to answer. But sometimes when it's more technical, then usually we'll get in touch with the client, and then we have a WhatsApp group where we run the answers through you first.
So let's say I have a lot of time, okay, and I want to do like contents now. And what do you think is the best content that I can generate at this point of time? Like as a like I just have a lot of free time and I want to do, let's say, a video. What do you think is the
Right.
best content that you do during this circuit breaker?
Well, I think first of all you have to think about what is the industry first. That's the key question. Say if today I'm a maybe I'm a business owner that wants to sell accessories like say apparel, right? So how do I begin? Right. The first thing is I will probably take a photo of my products. I will post it up and then maybe shout about what is special about my product. You know what? How does my apparel differ from my competitors' apparel? So I guess that's the main thing you should talk about. Um, yeah, take an interesting video. Try to make your video more, something that is different. It could be a stop motion video. Yeah, if you don't know how to start, sometimes it's also good to go and take a look at bigger brands, other brands, like maybe for example, because I'm giving an example of apparel, right? So maybe I'll go and look at Nike or Adidas, and I'll see how they do their posts, and then maybe I can, for a start, since I have no knowledge on how to make a post, right? I will just try to replicate their post and their style, and maybe try to make something similar. Yeah.
Now, as a creative person in the industry myself, I would suggest that if, let's say, the process behind of, let's say, you want to do a video itself, right? It's not as simple as it seems. Now you have to create your own, let's say, storyboard, right? And then you have to think of ways that it's actually binded to your industry itself. Means you have to think of ways that sort of like works together with your brand, because you can't really post things that are random or that is not current at all, because then again your industry is not the news company. Unless you're the news company, then of course you can post things that are happening, that is happening right now. So let's say, like, for example, I'm just giving out examples. For example, let's say like a hair, let's say like a hair product, right? And then this particular hair product is called Hair 360, and basically what it does is to cover up the hair spots, hair balding. Okay, so what this client did previously was that during this period where there was this ban on this what do you call the electric cycling thing or something like that. Basically, they just use that pose, and then they just use that period of time, that news, to actually create a balding image of someone's taking a scooter, riding a scooter, and then the hair being pulled out. So basically what they did was just to take this current issue, this current hot topic, and then curate the content according to their brand's perspective. So these are the kind of content I believe ASF is talking about. So it's like, it must be current, it must be related to your industry, and you have to think of ways to pick up the hot stuff, hot topic. Like for example, currently it's about COVID-19, and then relate it back to your brand, so that people, be it like a meme or like something funny, or it can be a educational thing, like let's say how to protect yourself, and then maybe your product is a sanitizer, then yes, that will be perfect. You need sanitizers to at this point in time. But if let's say your industry is totally unrelated, let's say you are doing printing, so you have to think of ways to relate this hot topic back to your industry. Be it maybe someone doing a printer printing something, and you create a joke out of it, and that joke relates to COVID-19. Hey, that is the good content. So these are things that I believe what he's referring to, and you have to be creative to think of ways to differentiate yourself among the others, like especially in your industries, right? Am I right to say that, Asa?
Yes, thanks, Maya. It's very accurate. So you actually have to think about, like what Maya said, you have to think about how your brand relates to current affairs. It might not be directly related. So not everybody is selling hand sanitizers, or not everybody is selling a hand wash, right? But you should think about how to translate this information to something that's happening currently. So it's a bit difficult. It takes time, but then it's rewarding in a way. Like for example, one example that we did for the potato chips brand that I mentioned earlier is the how we try to ask them to try and make potato chips at home. So some people might think that, hey, why am I encouraging my customers to replace me as a brand? What if they make their own potato chips and they end up not buying from me anymore? But no, it's because we are thinking differently now. It's a different age where advertisements are not just pushed to the customers. We're actually trying to create a conversation. So we want people to participate in what our brand does. And then, it becomes more of a fun thing, more interactive thing, more like, we are part of this community. Yeah. So back to what we were talking about and how to relate it to COVID. So we were saying that because now you cannot, you can't go out and buy stuff, or you should minimize going out, right? So we tried to make it more like you can DIY your own potato chips. So potato chips are not directly related to COVID as well, you see. But the point is, how do you think about how to relate it to the current affair, which is where the important part is.
Now, there's a question that's asking, like, should a commercial interior designer spend part of marketing budget into social media marketing, or should they actually spend this same amount of money for advertising into, let's say, magazines,
right,
like TV commercials? Like, why should we invest in this like social media platform in a way?
Okay, so we actually had the experience of helping an interior design firm market on social media before. So on social media, in this kind of industry where you're providing a service, right? What customers like to see is a portfolio. Like I mentioned just now, for the trainer, right? For fitness trainers, it's the same. So you try to use this platform as a platform to shout about what you have done. The things that you have done well, your achievements. So it could be like a shot of the before and after interior design. It's showing like how it was transformed. It can also be like testimonials from your customers saying like how they went through the whole service process and they are very happy with the service that was provided. And also it could be social media is also we can use social media to buy lead ads. So lead ads are the kind of ads where people click it and then they get to fill in their details on a form. So what we did for the other company was that we bought lead ads to help to bring people in for a free consultation. So these people are people who are getting their keys, for example, like HDB, or I'm getting my keys next month. So we had these ads that are targeted to this group of people. So this group of people will fill up their details and then they will fill up their details for a free consultation. And then what the interior designer can do is to contact these people and then set up a meeting for this free consult. Yeah. So then you already have a foot in the door in terms of getting the client, getting the lead, you see. Yeah. So that's how social media, there's another type of ads that we do, lead ads. Yeah.
Now we have been talking a lot about like business to customers in a way, like direct sales. What if we are talking about like B2B, like business to business? Do you think it's essential for them to actually create like social media presence and to attract all these like B2B customers, that kind of thing?
Okay, for B2B it's a bit tricky because it's not directly to customers. So I know how you feel because my company is a B2B company, right? I don't reach out to customers directly, but I reach out to businesses. So I think as a B2B company, the basic requirement is that you still have to have a page because the page gives you online presence. It gives you a reputation. So that page will give you the opportunity for you to talk about what you do, what the things that you have done. Yeah. And I guess it's more for brand building, you see. You won't really get direct sales maybe, but as you build your reputation, then more and more people will start to contact you. And also maybe more of like word of mouth. When somebody sees a post that is relevant to them, then they might share it and you might get the lead. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, yes, social media is essential and we do have to spend time, like creating contents, engaging content. There's a lot of work. So now we have a question that asks, how about videos that are slightly naughty that seems to be something that people will be interested to view, but how far is too far? Could you please advise our dear audience?
How far is too far? The furthest you can go is that if you post it out and it gets banned, then you know that's too far. Lah.
Yeah, that is a very
I think if you are into this kind of stuff, maybe you can take a look at how Durex does their marketing. Like if you go to Facebook and then you take a look at their Durex social media pages, it's actually quite interesting. Like they do very interesting kind of ads. They are very subtle, but at the same time very thought provoking. So you really get like that kind of it's a very funny kind of reaction, and that usually gets you a lot of reach. Yeah. You
all
can,
right.
I guess
So I mean,
you have to strike a balance. You know, you have to strike a balance between how safe it is and how thought provoking it is. Because the more thought provoking it is, then the more it goes viral. You see. Yeah.
well, I guess for our dear audience, if you want to try doing this kind of video, I would suggest maybe hiring a good model, a pretty model to start off with that is legal at the same time, and you still can get your reach. I would say. Oh yes, and then talking about that, so what do you suggest that we could actually spend our money on advertising, or should we spend on, let's say, hiring influencers? Like this whole topic about influencers, do you think that it works for clients? What's your thoughts about, like, sending things, or paying for influencers to actually increase our reach?
Okay. The influencers thing is useful, I would say. Yeah. So you can hire influencers if you feel like your brand is related to what the kind of post that they talk about. You see, so if you were to sell, maybe you were to sell some, let me think. I mean, essentially, you're trying to reach an influencer that matches your brand profile. You see, yeah, you must, in a way, you have to curate the type of influencers that you're looking for, because not every influencer matches your brand. Yeah, so I guess if you're comparing between ads, buying ads, and then having influencers, um, I guess you still have to have both. You can't not have one and have the other one. Yeah, and besides, if you were to reach out to influencers, there are some influencers that are willing to do it for free. These are the more micro influencers that they are willing to talk about your product as long as they get maybe a free sample for them to try, and then they will write for you for free because they need the content as well. Yeah.
No, we're just curious, like, could you just show us an example of the ads that you did before, like the forms, like for that industry that you were mentioning about, because our audience is curious about how it actually looks like.
What? Sorry, what forms? Oh, you mean for the interior design form, is it?
Right, correct.
Yeah. I don't really have an example right now, but essentially, you it's a normal ad on the news feed, right? So you see the ad on your news feed as you're scrolling down, and then you see that there's a button there that says sign up. So you click into the sign up, and the form pops up immediately. So it's not a separate link; it's on the same page. So you just have to key in your details and then submit. Then somebody will come. Somebody on the back end, which is us or the client, will be able to have a database of all the information that is collected, and then the client will contact the customer. Yeah.
Could you share with us, like, other portfolios that you actually curated, like some of your clients, and we just want to get inspired by the type of contents that
Sure.
we can do for our social media?
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I can share my screen again, and I'll show you the types of the other posts that we do. So this is another client that we are working with. So this is actually the distributor of the brand called Sukin. I'm not sure if you heard of their brand before, but they do natural skincare. So as you can see, all these posts are, we come up with the content. Yeah. So this is for Sukin. This is for skincare. Can you see? Oh wait, I think I have to change my screen.
Yes, it's very small now.
Okay, I'll just yeah. So this is for QV Skincare, which is another brand that we are working with currently. So these are like the type of questions that people like to know about. For example, why is my skin still dry? You see, you put moisturizer, but why is it still dry? So we like to have more educational kind of posts as well. We like to share facts about insights and different things that you have questions but nobody answers. You see, yeah. So I can show you that these are type of posts that we have. It can be in the form of videos as well. So you can see this video is like that. Yeah, so short videos like this, they work very well as well. This is the content for the gym. How's that? Wait, I think I have to. Can you see my screen? Yeah, okay. So this is like how's that? So this is like just sharing information about the trainers, talking about their new programs that they're rolling out during this COVID season, which is virtual coaching. Sharing some workouts like this. Yeah, so all these are interesting things that you can do with your brand as well.
Yes, so okay, let me pick another question that the audience is curious about. So now Joanna is asking like how much is the price range for like influencer of around 20,000 followers usually charge for like one social media product? Do you have any brief like idea about the range?
The price range, is it? So
Yes.
for the cost, it depends on the number of followers the influencer has. Usually the ones that are above 50K, maybe they charge a certain amount. Above 100K, they charge a certain amount. Yeah, so it really depends on the influencer. So if you want to find out, the best way is just to drop them a DM and ask them. Usually they are quite prompt with their replies. They just let you know very upfront. You can just ask them, how's your rates? How do you charge? Yeah. Or maybe you can even ask them, hey, I have this product and I would like you to review it. And then if it's free, they will just say, okay. If it's not free, they will just tell you, oh, these are my rates. And then you'll find out there. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's gonna be very pricey, I would assume. And now we just wanna ask like, how do you differentiate a good quality versus like just filling up the normal, how do you say, like I just have to post basically, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like how can we make quality posts, or what constitute like a quality post?
Okay, I guess you won't know exactly how your post does until it goes out. You see, so the type of people that look at your post, sometimes you feel like, oh, sometimes we feel like the post is fantastic. I feel like this is a post that will go out, but then it doesn't. So maybe instead of putting so much pressure on yourself, what you can do is to come up with a consistent plan. So instead of making sure that every single post is a surefire, right? You should focus on consistency instead. Try to come up with try to come up with posts more consistently. So like maybe every 3 days I come up with one post, and then sometimes the posts, even though they might be simple, you'll be surprised that they do actually do quite well. Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of work, but I believe what we have to do now is really to take the time to actually create more contents, quality contents, right? And actually basically start posting and just give back informational posts to our audience, and then create as much informational things as possible, engagement, for example, contests, and yeah, so basically that's what we have to do. And how about like LinkedIn? Like, what do you have to say about, let's say, is LinkedIn considered a social media platform as well, or should we
Yes,
not
it's
like?
considered a social media platform, but I would think nobody goes there for if they want to buy something. I would say, okay, actually LinkedIn is much better for B2B because that's where people are looking for, for businesses help, So if you are a B2B platform, maybe you could consider LinkedIn, I guess. But otherwise, if you're selling a product to the direct consumer, I would say, save your time and spend it better on creating quality content. Mm.
So I guess that says for, let's say, YouTube advertisements and Google like advertisements, like should we spend our time more on, like creating contents or ads for all these things, or should we just really concentrate on the small stuff like creating contents for our own social media?
Um,
I'm talking about
yeah,
ads.
so you're talking about two things here, right? So one is Google
Yes.
Ads and one is Facebook content. Yeah, so Google Ads are also a bit of a different ball game here because Google Ads are more less of social media, right? Google Ads are more for digital marketing, and I guess again I feel like you have to have both, which is why I say that all these things to consider are actually a lot of work when you sit down and think about it. Which is why it's better to have a team of people to help you. Yeah, so I don't think you can just completely not do either one of them. You have to do both, or at least have a basic, something there. It's always good to have some presence online. Yeah.
All right. So we have our very, very last question. Uh,
Sure.
Kyle is asking, like, how often would you suggest using a Creative Commons Zero images or videos as compared to photos or videos you take yourself?
Okay. That's an interesting question. Well, I guess if you have a lack of time and resources, going for creative, common kind of images is okay. But the bad thing about those is that you cannot get exactly what you're looking for all the time. So maybe if you're looking for something very specific, you might not be able to find it. Say, for example, one of the very difficult issues that we have when we use stock photos, right, is how like finding an image of Asian people. You realize that a lot of stock photos and Creative Commons kind of images are always of Western culture. And then if you are trying to use it in Singapore, it's not going to be relevant. You see, like why is it a Caucasian person when your business is selling to an Asian culture, you see. So that's the difficulty in using that kind of images. So here's where we feel like we are able to provide a solution for your business. So we want to when you take on this social media package, it includes photography as well. So every month we'll actually come down and do a photo shoot for your brand. So that kind of reduces the amount of work that you have to do, and you won't have to use stock photos because they usually don't they usually are not good enough. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming up on this Host Now Live with us. So once again, we would like to thank Asaph from Hashbrown Media for sparing us some time to be on the show. Also, we would like to thank our audiences wherever you are watching from for participating. So meanwhile, before we go, we have a QR code right here. Scan it and leave us your feedback. And if you also would like to find out more about Hashbrown Media services, please feel free to leave us a message, contact us so that we can bring ASF directly to you. I mean, connect both together. So do leave us your feedback. Let us know what we can improve on, or what would you like to see more about, like industry experts, or which kind of industry experts that you would like them to join us. So just feel free to let us know your thoughts, and we will see you again when we see you. Adios.